Audio is still working? Alright, looks like we got audio, running on a little bit of a delay. Oh, great. So, if you're joining me, ladies and gents, hello. Hope you're all having a nice, fine evening tonight. Right now, we're looking at the worst thing known to mankind as for game news right now. Age-old loot boxes, which EA is currently defending. So, we're going to be taking a look deeper into that today, playing some Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, if you haven't played this game yet, because it's obviously not out, EA Access offered a 10-hour trial, so I'm playing on that trial right now. Going to give some arcade a little shot today. They have these battle scenarios, campaign-style game modes like from the first one. The custom arcade is probably the most fun thing I've done in a short tutorial. Custom arcade is not as in-depth as the old Star Wars Battlefront 2, but it's as good as we're going to get for this one, is what it seems like. Got a small selection of planets. It's only half dozen. Yeah, half dozen planets. We're gonna just take a shot at Naboo. Put it to a long game here. 8 and 8. Just to normal. Alright, so it offers you a large selection of customization options. The game so far I don't think is that bad personally, but loot boxes become a very large issue in most of what's become gaming today. So we're going to get this game started and look more into how the game plays and how it's going and whether it's still going to be a good purchase for people, because a lot of people today, after EA has now received the most downvoted of all the Reddit comments ever, and their justification of loot boxes, are rescinding their pre-orders, asking for refunds, no longer want the game. I'm still getting it tonight at launch for the pre-orders, but I don't think the loot box system is terrible. I also have no intention of spending money on them. EA doesn't seem to understand where their consumers are coming from, but the people are also very upset because the heroes, first of all, started off, and you know, most of these heroes you don't start off having unlocked. I believe you start off with Rey, Leia, and one other. I'm not sure which other it is. The rest of them you have to purchase, and are very expensive. I believe Darth Vader is the most expensive hero at 60,000 credits, which one person doing the math upon playing estimated that to be about 40 hours of gameplay, he said. Right now I'm playing a one-hit mode they have, and it makes it much more difficult, a lot more intense. Doing this 4v4 with no radar is real difficult. Arcade mode's probably the most fun mode that they got so far in the game. It's simple, it's smooth. I'm real bad at this kind of stuff. I'm better at a campaign style. And it plays well. People are just concerned that the progression takes a long time, which I understand. Not a lot of people have time to play games, especially as you get older. You have school, you have work, you have all this and that going on. But I feel like the loot boxes are a little bit of a way around that. It's more of a, like, someone can play 2 hours a week, the other person can play 8. And they're both playing together, and the guy that plays 2 hours a week, like, well, I want to get up there and be alongside, like, my friend, have all the stuff he has, play the game with all the stuff he's got. And the loot boxes are essentially a way for them to skip the progression system. I haven't really seen an effectiveness to this yet. If it works, most other games that have tried it, it hasn't worked that well in, because people just buy them to get ahead early. And it kind of ruins it for the people that just want to play the game, and I understand that. But at the same time, they have the means, they have the money, so they're going to. I just don't know that it gives enough of a leg up for all the aggression that it's gotten today. For the most part, I'd say I don't want to see the loot boxes affect the game because Motive did a wonderful job with the campaign, and I've played the first 3 missions in this trial. That's all you get with the trial. And the storyline is very much something that makes me want to keep playing it. It's fun, it's intriguing, it's different. It's from a very different perspective that you wouldn't expect, being that you're an Imperial, which, yes, in Star Wars Battlefront 2 you played as the Imperials, but this one's more from the emotional side of a commander, who right now I don't feel like understands what she's doing after the fall. And I don't want to see sales flop and Motive to get the brunt of the problem. As we all know, EA has a habit of handling their game studios in a very improper way. They kind of make them disappear after a little while, after, for example, Mass Effect Andromeda. Another game I didn't think was terrible, but yes, was not great. BioWare kind of just disappeared over time. Didn't go great for them. Directors leaving, the company kind of got absorbed into another studio. The name escapes me right now. But it's becoming a much bigger concern now, especially after EA just recently acquired Respawn, the studio behind Titanfall. With Titanfall, I feel like it's going to go one of two ways. They're going to try to expand on the campaign they started, or they're going to try to make it a more Battlefield with Titans, and just absorb the franchise that way, as they have with Star Wars, the Battlefront series. I mean, it just full-scale battles, that's all you really care about anymore. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, Battlefield's a great game. They're fun, it's enjoyable to play, it's difficult sometimes because they're skill-based. But it does kind of take away from those of us that purchase these games for the storylines, for the characters. That's why I'm glad Motive got to do a campaign for this one. We are really getting killed here. So, mostly, I just hope EA doesn't do to Motive what they think they can because of what they did to themselves, and I don't want to see EA continue to absorb these studios that do these great games and turn them into something that they shouldn't be. But we're going to get more into this game briefly here, while we have a game going. So, there's the 6 different factions. There's your Separatists, your First Order, and your Galactic Empire, your Rebellion, your Resistance, and your Army of the Republic. Each one has 4 classes. They have the Assault, the Specialist, the Officer, and the Heavy. This is the Heavy class right now. It's really cool the way they structured the class system, because Battlefront 1, that was a problem. Like, the adaptability was great, in my opinion, where I could just grab a different gun, like I could just come in here, grab a different gun, and go. But now I have a class, and that class comes with certain abilities and a basis. And it gives a lot more flow to the gameplay, where you know what people are doing when they get there, instead of, oh, this guy's got that gun, I guess this is what he's doing. So, the new squad system really puts a sign into that, of how they're moving for that, from, like, Battlefield games, for instance. Instead of having one assigned partner across the whole match, they now have a squad system where when you choose to spawn in, you do a wave spawn, kind of like, I think earlier Call of Duties did that in, like, headquarters. Every player spawns at a certain time after being dead. I think World at War was known for that. And I'm just not doing well. The way that did the game is, like you see here, group full deploying. It allows a small squad to get on the ground. They all know where each other are. They know their class is going in. And they basically move in and get whatever they can get done. If you're ever looking to get there challenges for arcade mode, get so many kills with this character, get so many kills with this one, so many kills in general. If you're ever looking to get a lot of kills quickly, the best way I can say to do that is to set the game on the rookie difficulty. This is normal, which the difficulty actually scales up pretty quickly. I started the campaign on the hardest one. This corner right back here, You can just come and tuck yourself in right here. Set it to 1 hit on the enemies. You can give yourself as much health as you want or as little as you want. They have half, double, normal, and 1 hit. And 10 versus 2, you just sit in that corner with maximum number of tickets. Essentially, that's what the team battle is. It's a ticket-based game. And you can get all the kills you want. Because the credits can be accumulated in the arcade mode, I believe they limit all arcade credits to a certain amount per day. The battle scenarios all have a certain amount of credits you can gain every so often. I noticed that yesterday when it told me that I couldn't gain any more credits for 9 hours. The game in and of itself is fun. It plays like a Battlefield game. I'm playing in third person because I've always played Star Wars in third person, but there is a first person. It's a little bit more difficult in my opinion, just because they don't have a iron sight zoom. They just have a kind of screen gets closer. That's why I play third person, and Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 for me were always just third person games all the time. Try to get forward here. This is the officer class, the carry handgun, pistol only. I thought I saw somewhere that there was a weapon switching in this, but there isn't, so that kind of saddened me a little bit. Other things the officer gets is they have a flashbang grenade. They have the right bumper abilities, turret. All officers get turrets. There's no longer pickup abilities, at least not that I've seen so far. I've played around a Galactic Conquest or two. The campaign does have like crates that have those abilities in them, and once you pick one up, you have it and it recharges over time. And you can just exchange it out at any crate you find in a mission. It also has the battlefield system of crates for like your weapons and your star cards and all that kind of stuff when you play the campaign. I'm gonna keep trying to play the officer here. My favorite thing about the officer is I've always played more of a support, and as there's not really a medic in this, officer, each class has like a main double button ability, and the officer's one kind of rallies the troops. Everyone takes a little bit less damage. Not that it matters on 1 hit, but makes it a little bit more tactical gameplay. Each affiliation has, based on the map, I think it's based on map, 2 different extras that you can play for cheaper than the other heroes. These aren't the battle point prices for the online game, but for arcade it's a little bit lower. I gotta be careful because heroes are 1 hit. If you play 1 hit total, heroes are also 1 hit, so I'm gonna go with a blaster hero. I'm probably still gonna get killed pretty quick, but it's worth a shot. Alright. I have not played Han Solo yet. If you guys have any ideas about, like, or any grievances, I guess, against what EA's been saying with their, their microtransactions. Other people are complaining that they can't play Darth Vader at the start of the game. Darth Vader's 60,000 credit hero, and he's very difficult to obtain. Oh, I don't want to play him twice. Let's try the Jet Trooper. Personally, after playing, I've played all the Dark Side battle scenarios, and I played Darth Vader twice in those. I don't believe that someone getting him through a microtransaction gives them a distinct advantage, because they added a stamina system now to the lightsaber heroes, where they get tired out after swinging for so long, and deflection and all that kind of stuff, which, while as realistic as it is, makes the heroes much more difficult to play. I'll see if I can pull up Rey here. Give it a shot. It makes them like marginally more difficult to play, and compared to Darth Maul, who I played online and both in the trials, I found Vader to be much more difficult to play. Played Rey once. I heard she's more tactical, so I'm gonna take a second here. If you press up on the D-pad, you can check out your abilities if you didn't look when you're in the menu. Anything like that. So Rey's got her dash strike, which seems like Luke's dash strike from Battlefront 1. The sense seems like a scan pulse and mind trick. Oh, that I think inverts your controls for some. and some other things it does something else. But I actually fought Rey in an online game and ended up coming back at her when I was trying to run away. It was not fun. So this is the sense, I guess. Go in here. Okay, that did not work for me. I think I got shot out of the air. Alright, so that's all the heroes I can go. Let's go into the assault real quick. Assault's left-right bumper ability is pretty cool. It's shotgun. Personally, the assault's my normal class that I play. I was medic in Battlefield. I'm very like assault rifle in most games I play, all that kind of stuff. So this was the first class I delved into. At one hit, the shotgun is super OP because it's got range of like forever, like Gears of War, Nash, or shotgun level. Ooh, there's the enemy. So this is the first one I went for. It's fun class, all-around class. There's not much you can really do to go wrong with it. They have a couple of abilities. One of them is this little grenade launcher. It shoots a little scan beacon. It'll scan for enemies. I think once it sees a certain amount, it destroys itself. I'm not 100% sure on that, though, because the enemy was shooting at them at me one game, and there was just no end. B is no longer crouch in multiplayer. In online play, or in campaign, it's still crouch, as far as I know. But in here, it's actually it's a roll. Very difficult to master. You have to press and hold B a little bit while moving if you want to crouch. I think actually if you just press B while standing still, you still roll backward. Yeah. So it's a little bit difficult to master. Got to get used to this whole hold B thing. They added a couple of things. The heavy class is becoming one of my favorite classes. I think just because I love this blaster rifle. Always loved it. And its ability, I think, is my favorite. It has a sentry ability, which you see here. It pulls out a giant turret. And you have a circle around you where people come in. I think it boosts their armor or lowers damage taken. Pretty much the same thing, one or the other. But you just get a turret for a short amount of time. It's a lot of fun to use. Great for like suppressive fire on an objective, anything like that. Give it one more round here. Other thing it gets is the impact grenade, which, just as it was in before, throw it, it explodes. I apparently got a kill with that one. The other thing, the fun thing, is a shield. So the right bumper ability spawns a shield in front of him. You can't aim, and I think it takes like 3 or 4 hits for you. But it slows your movement, you can't take cover, you just kind of move around, and it takes hits for you. Super effective when you're taking damage in multiplayer. This is the new heat system too. You have a build-up bar on the bottom. It takes longer for it to go away, so you gotta really kind of keep an eye on it when you're doing what you're doing. But you can press X at any time, or square if you're on PlayStation, to vent your heat. See if I can get a heat build-up thing here. So eventually it does build up, and this is the new thing, where blue instantly vents all your heat. Yellow gives you a full, like, unlimited heat power. So it's like a Gears of War active reload system. And then once the yellow bar runs out, if you're still shooting, your heat bar will come back. I don't know what class gets the squad shield. I think it's just a star card ability, because your AI players will have star cards. I'm amazed this shield is still up. I apparently haven't been moving around enough to get shot at. There we go. Arcade's a fun way to kind of hone in your skills, but I'm going to try to get killed here. Going to have to start up another game. Oh, never mind. I got killed. Getting close. We might actually win this one now, though. So I showed you the officer. I'm probably going to throw the game by doing this, but we're going to pull out the specialist here. Very hard to use on this map, because this map's an indoor map. I haven't played the Galactic Conquest version of this yet, which I think there's a full-blown outside section and all that, like shown in the pictures. So this is one of the sniper rifles. I haven't really used the specialist much yet. I only played on Endor once, which is about the only place I really snipe in this game. Commander took damage. But even from third person, you scope zoom now, which kind of sucks, especially when you're playing a hero like Bosk has his, as he was brought back, he's one of the starting ones I think, has his Relby V10, and it'll zoom you in, but not enough that you'll still see like the back of Bosk when you're zoomed in. I'm not a huge fan of the sniper rifles. Oof. I also don't have AI aim, but their abilities are, I don't think I'm going to get to show them here. Yeah, we just lost. We're going to try to pick up a different map here, take a look at some of the other places. To get a last look at these classes, I'm also going to play a different faction. Yeah, like I was awarded credits. Here is the challenges that you can do. Defeat 250 enemies with the heavy, with the officer, kill a certain amount of enemies in arcade. 1,000 credits for doing that. You'd sit there for probably like 2 hours to get all that. So it is a lot of grinding. But there are ways to get a lot of credits, such as doing all the kills in arcade pretty quickly. I got close to 1,000, no, not 1,000, 10,000 credits in like 3 to 4 hours of multiplayer play, which is a quarter of a hero. It also saves your custom arcade preferences, so if you ever just want to come in and dive back into the game you just played after playing online, it's completely worth it. You can just jump right back in. The other game mode they have for it is Onslaught, which is really similar to if you played Battlefront 1 while it was installing. You got this mini mission where you played as Darth Vader and just had to kill as many rebels as possible. It's exactly what it is. Except you have a health bar, and your objective is just to kill a certain amount of rebels, like this one was 999 enemies in 10 minutes, and every time you kill an enemy you get 5 seconds. So it's a fun like against the clock time. Like you can start yourself with no time, 3 seconds. Instead it's you only get 1 second per kill. It's pretty much impossible, but at the same time it's a great way to like get moving, get going, and every time you get a kill you get more time kind of thing. It's nice. But I still prefer the good old team battle. I wish they let you do the full scale missions from the multiplayer, but they don't. Let's see. I haven't been to Starkiller Base yet. Let's do Starkiller Base. Let's keep it 300. We're going to go with a 2 versus 10. Give me double health. Just have some fun with this. Alright, so we're gonna get this one going. Actually, what faction am I? I'll play the First Order. We'll look at the bad guy heroes. Starkiller Base is where the tutorial is, but it's not really much of it. I'll see what the team battle map is like. The tutorial is in Onslaught mode, where I think you can play as Kylo Ren after a little while. But we're going to take a look at this, see what it's like. So the gameplay isn't bad. It's very Battlefront 1. It's pretty much identical. Hitboxes are a little weird sometimes, but that might be because I play third person. All in all, the classes are nice. The cosmetics are good. The colors are nice. The campaign colors are very pretty. It's a beautiful game. Do I have any star cards? I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any yet. So most everything comes unlocked, like heroes and classes and all that, in arcade. The only thing that doesn't is the weapons, which you unlock from playing the actual multiplayer. So you only get to practice with what you have in the multiplayer in arcade. It kind of brings it down a little bit because you can't like test the weapons out before you go, but the weapons are in a progression system. I hate to go back and forth, but just take a look, like 50 kills, 200 kills, 500 assault kills. So the more you play a class, the more you get the guns instead of buying them. I haven't gotten into that yet, haven't looked too far into it. I probably will more once I get deeper into the game. but it seems nice so far. Oh, wow. These colors are really... I guess they're Imperial bland, but... Ooh, I am getting shot already. This is what happens when you play against 10 enemies. I'll go back to the specialist after this, take a look at their abilities. The other ability for the assault is pretty simple. It's just a thermal detonator. You know, easy, normal stuff. Wow. Really makes you feel powerful when you have double health and the enemies can't even take a bullet. Still getting killed though. Just too many enemies. Assault's weapon vents really quickly, so it's a real good class for just running and gunning. Even when you only have a little bit down, you don't feel bad reloading. Works well, especially for those players like me. I reload after every kill, pretty much. It's just force of habit. Unless there's someone else there. I think there's a respawn button that I can just hit. Or I could just stand here and die because of how many enemies there are. Or not, I somehow survived all that. Never mind. Alright, we're gonna go to the respawn here. Okay, that was quite the scream. Check out the specialist abilities. Still gonna hate doing this whole inside thing. So, looks like we got... Oh, undetectable on enemy scanners. Marking enemies and equipping a powerful medium-range weapon. Okay, so infiltration is probably what I saw then in the beta, or what little I have seen. Because I saw a weapon switch and I was super excited. So let's check this out. Oh, this is the EE4, I think. Glad to see this gun make a return. Yep, this is the EE4. I loved this gun in Battlefront 1. I unlocked it on PlayStation 4, but never on the Xbox One, and it made me sad. Oh, and I'm done. Snipers are powerful. Even at double health, 4 well-placed shots will take you down. So main character campaign is a hero. She's actually pretty fun to play. She has a heavy repeater, and the vent speed on this heavy repeater is absolutely insane. I couldn't even believe it when I was playing online with it. Even in the campaign, it's pretty crazy, but like the vent speeds of an assault rifle, and it's real overpowered. But it'll come down eventually. It's also because I have one-hit kills, so it feels worse than it is. Also has that for the secondary fire, so there's no zoom, which I don't like personally because I like to zoom in when I take shots, but it does have the concussion blast, which is cool. She has a personal shield, has a little robot on her back that gives it for her. Personal shields are way stronger in this. They last... I don't think they last a lot longer, but there's no more charges, so the gameplay, you just kind of regenerate it after a while, and you can just throw it back up. Also, you can cut them short now, so just by shooting, it puts it down. Kinda sucks, because it means you can get the drop on somebody, but I mean, if you put it up because they already shot you, you're already at a disadvantage. Other thing she's got, I think this is the disruptor. Oh no. Oh. My droid just goes and shocks somebody. Okay. So she's got a similar loadout in the campaign. The droid is a Y ability that charges over time, so it doesn't take up one of your cards. I am getting lit up. Also, heroes have health regen, but once you lose a certain amount of health, you can't get all that... Oop, I just messed up that cooldown. You can't get all that health back again. Alright, we're gonna vent that. I just tried to aim and it goes. Campaign, you can find blasters all out and about. I don't know if you can collect them yet and like put them in your storage like unit. I hope so, because I really love the A280C. It's been my favorite gun in like Battlefield, or not Battlefield, Battlefront. They give you one to start, but it's a 3-round burst version, and I don't really like that too much. So I hope you can pick them up and bring them back. I'm going to try to get to test out. I know that's the pulse cannon, so that's why I've been putting off the left and right bumper ability. Alright, we're just going to try it. Oh, it's not even a rapid charge. It's just a full-on pulse cannon. Oh! It's just a weapon. So I can shoot this as much as I want. So like I said, you can see her in the left corner there when I zoom in. Like, she's still there over the shoulder. It's just uses the scope. Oh, and you can charge it without looking. This is really overpowered. I don't know how many shots I get. They changed the charge system, and they have a second bar now that goes underneath. And when that's full, it shoots. This is super overpowered, I'm not even gonna lie. I can just pull out a pulse cannon. I don't know if the star card is like this or not. That would be really crazy. Ooh. It looks like it still pierces, too, at least one enemy. Oop, and I've been defeated. What do we got? Rocket Trooper? Oh, the Flame Trooper is a good one. So it's like one of them is an enforcer and the other one is something else, and they each have their own abilities. The Overload, if you played Battlefront 1 and used Dengar ever, if you had the DLC, Overload is exactly like Dengar's Overload ability that just shoots his gun like nuts. They have an incendiary and floater, so that's really overpowered. And they have a flamethrower. Sucks for range, so. I think my favorite ability is they have the like a health bolster. Makes them more powerful for a short amount of time. I don't know if you can get this health back once you use it or not. Or once it's gone kind of thing. But it only lasts a certain amount of time. Oh, I can see this being a real holdout location for this character. Get someone close and we'll use the Overload. The Overload just shoots for you. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it doesn't. You gotta shoot in this one. Because in Battlefront 1, Dengar's Overload just shot straight for you. First Order's enforces a Flame Trooper. The Empire's is a Death Trooper. I'm pretty sure the Wookiee Warrior is the enforcer for either all 3 of the other factions or 2 of them. And then each faction has its Rocket Trooper, which has a rocket launcher as one of its abilities. I believe its left and right bumper ability is the Smart Rocket. Alright, let's see how much further I can get with this one. Cosmetically, this is kind of cool, like Starkiller Base. There's little rebels. Their animations aren't great, but, I mean, hey, they added prisoners and it's kind of cool. Okay, got a lot of them behind me. So, I don't know if you're going to pick up this game in the end, but I don't think it turned out as bad as it could have. Yeah, microtransactions aren't great, but I think we'll all survive. I think a lot of people are kind of overreacting to what's going on and just kind of want anything they can get their hands on and they want it now. But it'll come to pass and we'll know here soon. Game releases tomorrow on pre-order, or tonight, and releases fully November 17th. Other than that, that's all there really is to Battlefront 2, so I'm just going to keep playing this in the background. Other things that have been going on lately, like I said, EA has just claimed Respawn, and I don't know how that's going to go for Respawn. I hope it goes well, I hope it works out for them. I don't want them to disappear like BioWare, which I was sad to hear that BioWare disappeared, and I knew that they had when KOTOR went up on backwards compatibility and they couldn't really hold their rights anymore. makes me wonder what's going to happen to like SWTOR and any more upcoming games, if Motive's going to take over based on the reception of this campaign, or if it's going to be anyone else from there. But I just don't want to see Respawn go down, especially with Titanfall being a really good standalone multiplayer title when it came out. And then the campaign they added, I never played Titanfall 2, but I have heard good things. I heard it was a fun game, it was an interesting game, and the campaign added a lot of depth to the Titans and where everything comes from, which it's really cool that a game's able to do that for their players. Like, hey, here's a backstory. Like how all the players for Overwatch want a nice backstory to the game, a movie or anything like that. But I hope to see them flourish under EA and not to get a poor treatment, especially as a fun studio that came out of nowhere. Oop, and I messed that up. The other studio that I think EA might look to acquire eventually, this is just personal opinion, is Bluehole, after what Bluehole pulled off with PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which if you haven't played PUBG, I could say something funny and tell you to go play Fortnite, because it's the same thing, because it kind of is. But it's a lot like, it was based on, the developer, PlayerUnknown, worked on the H1Z1 mod for it, I believe, or no, something like DayZ mod for Battle Royale, and he worked on H1Z1 King of the Kill. I don't think he worked on the culling, and then he went out and made his own title. It's a great game. The one map it has now is like gorgeous map. It's well thought out, and it's essentially the Hunger Games. But the studio did a really good job with the platform and the title, and they kind of took it a little too far when they called out Epic for doing the same style thing, because they kind of tried claiming a right to the Battle Royale game, which isn't something they can really do, but I mean, hey, to each their own. I don't think Epic even really responded to that in any way, but Fortnite Battle Royale is not as big as PUBG. PUBG, I think, crossed 10 million copies sold recently. I think that was the number. And it made for a pretty big milestone for a studio that came out of nowhere. So EA might look to acquire them just to get, because they don't have their hands on any of that platformer game, especially with the movement towards it becoming a console game. I think it's launching with console exclusivity in December. I don't think it's this month. I think it's December for Xbox One, and then launching later for PlayStation. If you didn't hear about that nonsense between Bluehole and Epic, Epic obviously released Fortnite. It is a very unfinished, is what I'm going to call it, game. I'm not going to call it a bad game, because it's not at all a bad game. I think it's actually a really fun game. I bought it, and the devs, after I bought it, gave me one free copy, and after I gave that copy away pretty much immediately, they gave me another one. So I gave it to two of my friends, and it has like an hour-long tutorial, and that's mostly because it's going to a free-to-play model early next year, early 2018. And basically what everyone's doing right now is they're peeping the abilities that are coming up, they're taking a look at it, saying, hey, this works, this doesn't work. It's like one giant closed beta, except the closed beta is $40. So it's not in any way a finished game, a finished product, but it's looking to become something fun and good, and I hope it works out as a free-to-play game. But as part of what they've been releasing, they released, I believe, a free Battle Royale mode. I think the Battle Royale mode was free. And it played identically to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So PUBG, you start off, and it's you in a plane with 98 other people. There's one giant map, you jump out whenever you jump out, and there's a certain area you have to get to and try to stay in. And from there, you just kind of have to survive. A lot of PUBG games that I've watched played, the people that I watch play them, they get very few kills. They just survive a long time on wits and not moving, or moving with the circle. And Fortnite seemed to pull a lot from that, in that you jumped off, I think they called it the Battle Bus. I played PUBG a couple of times. I haven't played Battle Royale for Fortnite yet, because I wasn't great at PUBG, and I don't like Battle Royales that much. But you jump off, I think, the Battle Bus, and there's weapons on the ground, just like in PUBG. The one thing Fortnite has going for it is you can build your own bases throughout the game. So once you reach a certain point, you can build a fort, and it makes for quite the experience trying to take over a fort. It adds a different dynamic to it, instead of just trying to hide in a point in the bushes like PUBG does, because most of the time you end up just hiding in a bush, hoping the other person has a similar graphics card so they have just as many bushes as you do. And game goes from there. But Fortnite's Battle Royale, you could build without any materials you find, because you get a pickaxe. And I believe you land with your pickaxe, because it's like the main thing the game has. You can harvest metal, stone, wood, and I don't know how the upgrades work, because in the main game you have upgrades, if you start with all of them or not. But it adds a different kind of tactical strategy to it, instead of playing hide and seek. But Bluehole said, hey, you stole our game, you stole our base, legal action may happen. And Epic went, shoulder shrug, okay. And then Fortnite hit 1 million players the next day, I think. And I don't think Bluehole's really said anything about it since then. Which kind of sucks to have it stolen, but I mean, PlayerUnknown did kind of take it from all those other projects he worked on, which they probably didn't have NDAs for their games, because why would you? But if they did, he probably wouldn't be able to take it and go open up his own company and release all that information and coding into a new game as a dev for the old ones. But I mean, he did, and he won real big off of it. I believe it was $20 or $30, and you just got to play. And they made a lot of money really quick, because it kind of showed up on a little bit of people's radar and just took off. But I don't think it's a problem anymore. I don't think legal action is going to be pursued, but it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. Some people speculated that it was a stunt by Epic, that Epic went out and paid Bluehole to be like, hey, call out our game so we can get more players, which is entirely possible in this day and age. I'm not going to put that down as not possible, but I don't know, it doesn't seem like a developer like Epic, who was behind, I know, Gears of War 3. I'm not sure if they were behind the entire Gears franchise right now off the top of my head, but they did really well on that game. So a horde mode game from Epic, I can only imagine would be good, which is what Fortnite really ended up being. So I don't know if they just didn't get the player base because Epic as a studio wasn't known too well anymore, and they asked, but who knows, it could have been, couldn't have been. Trying to think of what else there might have been in recent news lately, things that have been going on, things that have happened. Other than EA's issues today, oh, Kotaku released a review, and I was informed of this today that they pseudo-called Cuphead racist. Which, I don't know, I know it's something that's been talked about before. I've gotten a lot of kills as a Flame Trooper. That Cuphead was racist because of its art style. Its art style is very 1960s, bad race relations America, Popeye art. Which, the way I talked about it with a friend of mine is that the art style shouldn't define the time period of the game unless that's what the game wants it to do. So, like, you can call it racist for its art style, but, like, it's calling it racist in the same way that recently there was a college who were doing their reunion, and it was Star Wars themed, and they were told that they couldn't wear Stormtrooper costumes because it related too much to the World War II Stormtroopers, and that was racist. It's much in the way of that, where unless that's the point they're trying to make, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Because I don't play a game to get that kind of information. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I play a game because it's a fantasy world to go to and play a game in. And that's what Cuphead is. I've played a little bit of it, not too much. It's a very difficult game. But it's also exactly what it is. It's a 2D scroller, it's hard. It's Super Mario, one hit and you're done, you get a couple of lives, unless you play with a friend. Then I think you can get saved. Except you get a couple of hearts, not a couple of lives. You get a couple of hits. You can get saved if you die, if you're playing with a partner. I believe it's Cuphead and Mugman, I think are the names. And the art style is, in my opinion, great. Like, what they did was a great idea. It worked out really well. And I would love to see more 2D scrollers done in that art style in the years to come. But a lot of people just received it the wrong way, and I think that's what's been going on with a lot of games, is a lot of people just kind of receive what the mission is in the wrong way. But they also, a lot of studios don't leave a lot of room for us to receive it any other way, in most cases. BioWare, when they said after the flop that was Mass Effect Andromeda upon release, we rushed it because we could just do better with a sequel anyway. Which is in part because Mass Effect 2 was one of the more revered games of that trilogy. Like, Mass Effect 1 was rough because you couldn't aim with guns you weren't proficient in. Mass Effect 3 was rough because nobody liked the canon ending, the initial canon ending. So a lot of people just liked Mass Effect 2 more because it was everything they wanted from the game, so I think that's what they were shooting for. It just didn't work out for them. And by telling us that, hey, we're just gonna make a better sequel, we don't care what you think about the game you just bought for $60 and waited so long for, kinda hurt, and it makes us wonder, like, well, we just gotta expect the worst from what these games are trying to give us. That was quite the game. So I can understand why people would assume, like, oh yeah, they're just being racist, because, like, oh, they're just doing it because they can get away with it because it's a video game. But I don't see that as that being the reason, you know? I think there's a lot more behind it, a lot more that it was just the devs saying, like, oh hey, this guy designed a really cool, like, boss for this game that we've been thinking about. And I mean, the game was in development for 3 or 4 years, so I don't know how we missed it for all that time, the art style of the game, and nobody else commented on it up until it released. Because it did have a pretty smooth release where it just kind of came out of nowhere and popped up, more or less. But in the end, it ended up being quite the game for most people. I'm going to dive off. I'm not going to play the campaign at all because if anyone watches this is wanting to play the campaign. I don't want to spoil anything, don't want to give anything away. I've played it 2 or 3 times already. Twice. Once on the easiest difficulty and then on the hardest difficulty, just to see the difference. I'm definitely going to be playing it on the hardest one. It's real fun. I might jump into some multiplayer in a minute. We're going to go over collection and career after finishing up on Cuphead here. I just feel like a game can be a game because it wants to be, and like, if somebody designed this great boss, like, someone drew that devil in the art style. It's like, that's great. I love that you drew this devil in this art style. Let's build a game around it. And then they built from there, because I've written here from time to time, and it's a great thing to pick your enemy. And because I'm more of an anti-hero or evil person kind of thing, like if I play D&D, I play evil characters. So I start with what I'm trying to conquer, and then I pick the antithesis to that, and then I weaken it. And then that's where I start with my character, and I build that up to become what it needs to overcome its obstacle at the end. So they could have had that platform for building the game, and the art style they got was just a build from what it started as initially. I mean, that's great, because that gives a lot of freedom to a lot of people who are writing for the game, who are doing the creative art styles for the game, and it's really nice to see if it was developed that way. So I don't think it's at all a racist intent, but people can take it as they please. For a little bit here, we're going to go over real quick the other screens on the basis of the Battlefront menu. I've only got like an hour and a half left of this trial, so You have all your heroes. So you start off with Boba Fett, Bossk, Han Solo, Kylo Ren, Darth Maul, Yoda, Lando, Rey. And then you have various heroes as your starfighters, which is Kylo Ren Starfighter, the Silencer, Han Solo and Chewbacca Millennium Falcon. Now that's distinct difference from the Rey and Chewbacca Millennium Falcon, which is also a hero. These, as you can see, are 5,000 credits. Like, I could buy this now, just to start. And that's the only one it looks like you don't get with the base game, is the Rey and Chewbacca Millennium Falcon. And then you have Darth Maul's Scimitar, which, if you ever read any of the non-canon books, the Legend series, the designer of that ship is awesome. Like, the whole base of that ship's amazing. I've read a lot of the books, and I really enjoy the canon, or the non-canon. You have Boba Fett, Slave 1 again. The Advanced X1, which I believe was in the the Death Star DLC. Yoda's Interceptor, which I don't think we've ever seen anywhere else in a movie or a game, which that's kind of cool. Poe Dameron's X-Wing, and Luke's X-Wing. So those are your air heroes. We're going to take a look at the other heroes. So, Emperor Palpatine, 10,000 credits. Difficult to play, pretty weak again. All in all, kind of interesting. Leia Organa, 10,000 credits. Luke Skywalker, 15,000. Okay, hold on. I gotta check how much Darth Vader is. Okay, so EA did release an update today. So this is a result of our feedback, I guess. Of everyone else's feedback. I didn't really get into it too much on Twitter or Reddit or anything. Yesterday when I played, Darth Vader was 60,000 credits. It is now 15,000 credits. So I can already almost purchase Darth Vader. So I guess the people were frustrated enough that all prices have been lowered for these heroes. I was a little surprised by the 5,000, so that makes sense now. So this is gamers' feedback at work here. Apparently EA listened, because a lot of people, they probably lost a lot of sales on their game. When I checked this morning, that Reddit post was at, I think, 27,000 some odd downvotes. So it went real bad for them. Looks like they heard, so I can even buy Versio now. It's going to be interesting to see what else they change then. So I got this little yellow corner, typical of Battlefield games too. I earned a card for this in the loot box I opened at the beginning. So this is how you get your cards, is from loot boxes. And you can craft them with scavenger parts. Let's see if I can get an assault card here. Oh, yeah, there's the tutorial to craft star cards. So I've got like 135 parts. A small amount of health for defeating an enemy. I played a game recently that was just like this. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me right now, though. Where you would craft these cards and you would just upgrade them. Oh, Gears of War 4 is just like this. This is exactly how Gears of War 4's Horde cards work for your weapons and your abilities and things like that. So you would craft them and then you'd upgrade them so that you get more and more every time. So we're going to look at some of these. Expert weapons handling. Cooling success states are longer. Brawler. That's in the campaign. Resourceful. That's nice. Bounty Hunter. Survivalist. Definitely going to have to go Survivalist. So these are boost cards. They're a little bit different than star cards. You can equip these, and since each class has a base star card ability, if you equip one of these, it takes a star card slot, but you still get that ability that your character would normally have. So down here, each card has replaces left ability, which is the thermal detonator. Some that should be replaced the middle ability, which is the Vanguard, Slug Vanguard. Most of these are just kind of a little bit of upgrades. Toughen Up replaces the right ability, which is my Scan Dart. These ones let you keep like your Scan Dart and all that. It just takes a position to give you the boost. So I think I'm going to take one of these first. I'm going to take Survivalist because I like to run and cower and cover when I get shot. So let's see. Let's see what... Oh, they don't give us cool animation, so it's not as cool as many other things. We don't get a fun animation. But I'll put this on. There we go. First star card. craft weapons, 50 assault kills. That's the A280. It looks like the A280 that we all know and love from Battlefront 1, except it fires in a 3-round burst, and I don't like that very much because while I love 3-round burst guns, it's not what I remember. I am cool with the fact that the DC-15 is in here because I've always loved the DC-15. Oh, and they do have emotes and victory poses, which I think is kind of in part from what Overwatch became after so long, like having emotes, having all that, and then Battlefront 1 had emotes and victory. I don't think I had no victory poses. I think it just kind of speaks to what the games have become. So here are the two special classes: are your Enforcer and your Aerial. Jump troopers, jetpacks, and rocket launchers usually, and the Enforcers just have high health and heavy weapons. Armor. So instead of picking up battlefield pickups to get your armor and your aircraft, and your heroes, like you saw, I picked a hero once I had enough battle points, which you gain from killing enemies and completing objectives. So you buy your artillery and all that kind of stuff, your heavy stuff, with battle points instead, and use those. Your fighters, your interceptors, which they did bring in the V-Wing, which is cool. I think you can actually look at them all. Or not. I don't know how to switch factions here. I don't know if they let you. So it's an interesting system that they've done. I'm kind of glad they changed it up a bit. I think it's still going to be cool. I've played some online, so I'm rank 4. There's a lot of milestones, a lot of campaign milestones. So there's a dozen campaign missions, and a lot of collectibles in all the campaign missions. There's a lot of arcade milestones that you can get from playing. Oh, another crate. Great way to finish out here. Gonna be calling it here soon. Just want to get a short little streaming with some news in this game, talk about what's been going on. So we'll open that to finish up in a bit. And see, 500 credits already, so now I'm up over 10,000 credits. So arcade's a good way to get credits quickly. 20 onslaught matches on Expert AI. They're super difficult, but it doesn't put any other stipulations. So you can cheat the system and give yourself double health and enemies are one-hit kills. So it's pretty much a way for you to go and be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to get some credits using the multiplayer, which has all of its own things to do. This one did have Starfighter stuff right out of the gate, which is also really cool, and I'm really happy about. That's my favorite part of Star Wars Battlefront 2, the old one on PlayStation 2. I would get a battle going, and I would just go, and I'd fly into the enemy ship, and I'd destroy everything from the inside, and then I'd leave. That was how I played that game. I loved it. Grew up with it, and it was great. I guess there's hero milestones, too. I haven't really looked into the heroes much. I never really played heroes in Battlefront 1. I could never find the friggin' upgrade power-ups, so this is going to give me a chance to play heroes a little bit more, which is going to be nice. And looks like they got Starfighter stuff too, so there's a lot of different stuff to do, lots of different stuff to get extra stuff from. So I can collect a campaign reward here. I got all the collectibles in the first mission. So they give you a lot of things to do, and it's really nice. And I just hope that everyone gives this game a decent chance, more so for the sake of the campaign and all that, instead of EA as a studio. I mean, EA got voted worst company in the world for, like, not world in the country for 2 or 3 years in a row once. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the days to come, though, especially with the free DLC. I'm doing air quotes with my fingers right now. Might not be so free, in the fact that you pay with in-game credits to unlock everything from the free DLC. I don't know if that means maps, but I know that does mean the other things, like characters and starfighters and weapons. So it'll be interesting to see where it comes. If you tuned in, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed doing just a little short news stream here. my Xbox is telling me there's 2 of you, so thank you for coming in, stopping by. We're gonna pop open this. Oh, I'm so excited. Darth Maul. At least I will have my revenge. I think that's an emote. Victory Pose 4. Oh, great. It's like an Overwatch loot box. Alright, well, thank you for tuning in. I'll probably upload this to my YouTube channel. And I might do this again sometime next week. Or if anything big happens this rest of this week or anything like that. So, thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys later.